Greetings, my beautiful, high achieving, ambitious mothers and teachers. I know you are trailblazers because I am. For those who don't know me, my name is Shauna Hallie Lee. I am originally from Guyana, South America. But as I become 54 in the next few days, I wanted to share some gems and nuggets that I learned. Mostly, this information is from Oprah Winfrey, but I have integrated some of my other spiritual teachers into this conversation. And I would like for mothers and teachers who are under 50 to really embrace this message and integrate it, because I don't want you to wait to be able to live the life you deserve. For those of you who are over 50, it's okay. I am over 50 and I'm just beginning to really become the version of me and stand up and step into the version of me that I've been just holding out on for a while. So I would just want you to know it's never too late. And we have time to make a difference if we are beyond 50. But this is dedicated to my younger, high-achieving mothers and teachers. So here goes to my trailblazers. There comes a time in your life when you stop looking for outward strength and start looking inward. After 50, that shift is no longer optional. It becomes necessary. You realize that people you leaned on before are not as close, not as available, or even just not capable of showing up for you in the ways you hoped. Life evolves, people change priorities. They move, and the sooner you accept that no one is coming to save you, the freer you become. You see, self-resilience isn't about shutting people out. It's about finally choosing to stand tall in your own life, regardless of who claps for you or who show up. It's about waking up in the morning and knowing that your emotional balance, your mental clarity, and your thriving depends on you first. You start to feel the weight of your choices more deeply. You begin to see that blaming others no longer serves you, and waiting for someone to understand you no longer fulfills you. You see, you begin to understand the power of having your own back, of making your own decisions, and making the decisions that protect your energy, of walking away from places that no longer serve your peace. You stop waiting for apologies. You stop waiting for someone to change. You stop seeking closure from those who benefit from keeping you confused. You've learned to close the door yourself, lock it, and throw away the key, because you finally trust your own judgment more than you trust other people's excuses. You start becoming the person you once wished would show up for you. You learn how to comfort yourself in silence, how to motivate yourself on the days when you don't feel seen, how to dry your own tears, how to give yourself grace, how to clap for yourself in small moments when no one is around to notice your progress. You also begin to recognize how powerful it is to be still with your own thoughts and not to run from them. You learn to parent your own inner child, coach your own future self, and mentor the woman you have worked hard to become. You've learned to trust your instinct, not just when it feels good, but especially when it's hard. You don't beg for support, you build it within. And that means, and that internal strength that's cultivated, that becomes unshakable core, become your greatest weapon against fear, uncertainty, and loneliness. You see, you no longer wait for someone to check in to see how to feel worthy. You no longer wait for someone to check in on you to feel worthy. You check in on yourself. You ask yourself, how am I really doing? What do I really want? No more need or desperation right now. And then you meet your own needs gently, fiercely, with the same love you gave to others who didn't know what to do with it. You no longer operate from desperation, hoping someone will pick you up, love you, rescue you. Instead, you realize you were always the answer you were waiting for, that you've never been too weak to carry your own life. You hadn't yet discovered the courage to stop handing the key to someone else. You just hadn't yet discovered the courage to stop handing the keys to someone else. You see, self-resilience teaches you how to be whole, without needing to be completed. It gives you the ability to say, I am enough without shame. It teaches you that it is not arrogance to depend on yourself. It is wisdom. Because no one can walk your path. No one can feel your pain. No one can fulfill your purpose for you. That works belong to you. Only you. According to Dan Sullivan at Strategic Coaching, when you become a person who is self-aware or an entrepreneur, you are making two fundamental decisions. One, to relieve the rest of the human race of any responsibility for your well-being and financial security or any other success. And two, you no longer expect any opportunity to be open to you until you first create value for others. By the time you turn 50, your body is no longer whispering to you. It is speaking loud and clear. Every ache, every twinge, every moment of fatigue is a message. It's not just about getting older. It's about how well you've been listening. And at this stage of life, one truth becomes painfully obvious. Your health is no longer something you can afford to take for granted. It becomes your most valuable currency. More valuable than status, more valuable than achievement, more valuable than anything sitting in your bank account. You begin to realize that energy is everything. Without energy, without even the simplest task, feels heavy. Without mobility, even the most beautiful moments lose their shine. You start to notice how your body reacts to stress, certain foods, to long periods of neglect. The same habit that were harmless at 30 begin to cost you dearly at 50. You can't eat recklessly. You can't sleep inconsistently. You can't keep pushing your limits without expecting the price to be paid. What used to be optional becomes essential: movement, hydration, routine, rest and routine. Taking care of your health is no longer about appearance, sweetheart. It's about preservation. It's about being able to climb stairs without losing breath. It's about waking up without pain in your joints. It's about protecting your brain, your heart, your bones, because everything is connected. Now, you start to feel the direct link between how you treat your body and how you show up in life. You also start to recognize the emotional health. Emotional health is just as important as stress you bury, the resentment you carry, the grudges you refuse to release. They don't stay quiet. They show up in your skin, in your digestion, in your blood pressure, in your emotional wounds. Emotional wounds that go unhealed will manifest as physical symptoms. And if you keep ignoring the signals, your body will force you to slow down. Illness will do what self-care could have done a long time ago. You see, you realize that your health is not about doctors and prescriptions. It's about daily choices you make when no one is watching. The food you put on your plate, the way you wind down before bed, the voices you listen to, the thoughts you feed on. Health is built moment by moment, mental, emotional, relationships, physical, financial, and no one can do that work for you. This is the stage in life where you stop chasing outer rewards at the expense of your well-being. Because the house, the titles, the applause, none of them matter, and matters if your body can carry you to enjoy it. None of them matters if your mind is exhausted and your spirit is depleted. You begin to value peace over pressure, longevity over speed, wellness over image. You learn that rest is not weakness, it's wisdom. That boundaries are not selfish, they are protection. They're saying no to stress, toxic relationships, and burnout is a form of medicine. You stop viewing self-care as indulgence and start recognizing it as moments to choose thriving over surviving. You make time for moments not to push your body or punish your body, but to honor it, to eat, to fuel yourself, not to cope with your emotions. You check in with how you feel, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, because you understand now that healing happens in layers. You begin to let go of false pride that once kept you silent when you were in pain. You speak up. You ask for help when needed. You make appointments. You get the screening. You follow through. Because now every year counts. Every choice counts. And the greatest gift you can give to yourself and those who love you is to take care of your health seriously. You begin to understand that vitality is power, that clarity is freedom, that health isn't something you could borrow or fake. It is earned. It is protected. It is cultivated in the quiet, ordinary moments of life. When you choose to love yourself enough to show up for your body, your mind, your soul, you see real health and real wealth comes and is acknowledged mostly after the age of 50. There comes a point in life when you begin to value what money can't buy. You start to realize that your real wealth isn't in possessions or accolades or even relationships. It's in what you've learned, what you've survived, what you've seen and processed and grown from. Wisdom becomes the new currency, not the loud kind, not the kind that needs to be flaunted or spoken about, but the quiet kind, the kind that sits in your spirit and guides your every move without needing validation. Wisdom is what teaches you the difference between reacting and responding, between being busy and being productive, between pleasing others and honoring yourself. It doesn't come fast. Wisdom is the result of mistakes made, losses endured, disappointment faced, and we never allow it to come easy because we have been conditioned to fear our own greatness. So lessons are repeated until we finally learn to move differently. And I want to say that again. Lessons are repeated until we finally learn how to move differently. So when you learn the lessons, you stop speaking on things that no longer deserve your energy. You stop chasing people who left you confused. You stop arguing to prove your worth because now you understand there is more power in silence than 1,000 explanations. Wisdom teaches you restraint. It teaches you that not every invitation is worth accepting. Not every insult needs a reply, and not every emotion deserves a reaction. You begin to notice how much you've changed. You don't seek to dominate the conversations. You've observed and you no longer want to be the loudest in the room. You let your presence speak, and when someone tries to test your peace, you don't engage with anger. You disengage with clarity, because wisdom shows you how to protect your energy like it's gold. It changes the way you love too. You stop giving pieces of yourself to people who don't know how to hold you. You no longer romanticize potential. You pay attention to patterns. You listen closely to the energy behind the words. And you trust behavior over promises. You learn to love with eyes wide open, not through the lens of fantasy, but through the clarity of your experience. Yes, wisdom also shifts your relationship with time. You don't rush like you used to. You understand that everything doesn't have to happen right now. You're not easily shaken by delay or setbacks because you've learned how to sit in uncertainty without falling apart. You've learned that the best things unfold over time and that peace is more important than speed. You become more intentional with your words, your decision, your space. And you don't overshare, you don't overcommit, you don't overextend. You conserve your energy like someone who knows what it costs to regain it. You speak less, but mean more. You move slower, but with purpose. You laugh easier, not because life is simple, but because you have learned how to carry the weight with grace. And you recognize the difference between intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence gathers. Wisdom applies truth. Intelligence can be taught in the classroom. Wisdom is earned through living, falling, getting back up. It's not just about knowing everything. It's about knowing what matters, and more importantly, yourself. You no longer just react to the world. You respond from a place of deep understanding, knowing that everything doesn't deserve your presence, your energy, or your voice. You begin to see that wisdom isn't always appreciated by others, especially those who haven't earned it yet. But you don't need applause. You're not walking through life to be impressive. You're walking to be free. Free from needing to be understood, free from explaining your value, free from trying to fit into places you've outgrown. Wisdom doesn't require a spotlight because it radiates from within. When you reach a certain point in your life, especially after 50, peace becomes priceless. It's no longer just a nice idea or something you hope to feel every now and then. It becomes essential, like air, like water, like breath. You start to notice that peace isn't just a feeling, it's a form of power, a quiet, steady force that sustains you when everything around you feels chaotic, uncertain, or draining. You no longer entertain chaos just because it's familiar. You don't welcome confusion in your space just because it comes dressed as family, lovers, friendship. You begin to realize that your peace is your responsibility, not the world's, not your children's, not your partner, not your job. No, yours. And that means setting boundaries that once felt uncomfortable. That means walking away from noise even when it's disguised as loyalty and obligation. Protecting your peace means being selective with who gets access to you. Not from a place of ego, but from a place of decision to thrive. You can no longer allow people to dump their emotional garbage into your spirit. You can't absorb everyone's crisis and still carry your own healing. And you can't keep saying yes when your body, your heart, your intuition are screaming no. You've lived too long, seen too much, been through too many storms to keep giving people the benefit of the doubt at the expense of your well-being. You see, you start to notice how certain environments drain you, how certain conversations leave you feeling heavy, how some people always bring tension, gossip, judgment, or negativity into every space they enter. Rather than trying to fix it, rather than trying to change them, you simply remove yourself quietly, consistently, completely. Because protecting your peace means choosing your sanity over their comfort. It also means being mindful of the stories you tell yourself. Because sometimes the loudest threat to your peace isn't external, it is with the internal critic. The internal critic is your voice, your familiar voice that keeps replaying past regrets, the one that questions your words, your timing, your choice, and you learn how to silence it, not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by speaking truth to it, by grounding yourself in what you know, not just what you fear. Protecting your peace requires discipline. It's waking up and choosing not to scroll through drama, choosing not to respond to that message, choosing not to lose and to let someone else dictate your mood for the day. It's choosing to nourish your mind, your body, your spirit before you go out into a world that wants to pull you in every direction but inward. You start to prioritize solitude over noise, reflection over reaction. You find healing and stillness in not stimulation. You learn how to enjoy your own company, how to sit in silence without needing it to be filled. Because peace grows when you stop escaping yourself, when you stop looking for external distractions and begin doing the inner work. You begin to view your peace as a boundary, not a privilege, and not everyone will understand that. Some will call you cold, some will call you distant, some will try to guilt you for outgrowing the chaos they still feed on. But you no longer explain yourself. You no longer apologize for refusing to participate in dysfunction. You don't engage to prove a point. You disengage to protect your energy. You start guarding your schedule and you stop overcommitting just to be liked. You honor your capacity, your limits, your emotional bandwidth. You stop attending every event out of obligation. You stop answering every call out of guilt. You stop rescuing people who refuse to save themselves because you know now that your peace is not negotiable. You've sacrificed it before and it cost you your sleep, your clarity, your joy. You're not willing to pay that price anymore. You cultivate peace through what you consume, who you allow near you, and how you treat yourself. You choose to rest over resentment. You choose peace over performance. You choose simplicity over status. And most importantly, you choose yourself. Not in a selfish way, but in a sacred one, because choosing yourself is the only way to protect the peace that sustains every other part of your life. Yes, my ambitious, high-achieving mothers and teachers, my trailblazers, there comes a time in life when you start realizing that moving from survival to thriving, inner security and sanity often requires you to make choices that goes against the expectations of others. And let me say that again. There comes a time in life when you start realizing that moving from survival to thriving, inner security and sanity often requires you to make choices that goes against the expectations others have placed on you, especially those who share your blood. But you see, after an open awareness and awakening to your magnificence, especially after 50, the pressure to keep playing roles you've outgrown becomes heavier, not lighter. The expectation to sacrifice, to give, to be available, to hold everyone else together, it lingers. And for many, that pressure doesn't come from strangers, it comes from family. But here's where it becomes clear. And you cannot build a stable future resting and worrying about other people. So it becomes clear, and your future, if your finances are tied up in emotional obligations, you cannot retire in peace. If you're constantly rescuing adults who refuse to stand on their own feet, you cannot meet your own needs. If you're constantly emptying your pockets, your energy, and your time to satisfy someone else's version of what you should be doing with your money, that is a deficit for you. You see, financial freedom means being able to make decisions that are rooted in logic, not guilt. It means learning how to say no to draining demands. It means choosing stability over emotional manipulation. Because the truth is, family can sometimes be the biggest obstacle to your financial peace. Not because they mean harm, but because they believe you owe them something simply because of history. History is not a reason to go broke. It's not an excuse to be used. Love is neither a reason to go broke. These 5 pillars, self-resilience, health, wisdom, peace, and financial freedom, aren't concepts. They are lifelines. And when family fades into the background, when old roles dissolve, when the noise dies down, these are the things that will hold you up. So walk forward from here, not with fear, but with deep knowing you are not behind. You are not too late. You are just becoming wiser, freer, and that is more than enough. Allow yourself before you ever turn 50 to integrate these lessons shared mostly by Oprah's words, myself, and some other powerful creative entrepreneurial minds. Listen to it until it becomes second nature. Listen intently before bed for 21 days to live authentically and apologetically. We have to reprogram our minds. Amazing teachers, wonderful mothers. You are trailblazers, so release her, let her be. Honor her, love her, nurture her, please. Give her time, give her care, give her space to be clear. Love and release the amazing, authentic, unapologetic, high-achieving, ambitious mother, teacher. Set her free to live her best life, not later, but now. Share with a mother, a teacher. Let them fill up on their own greatness. And I'll see you at the top of your game, my high-achieving, ambitious trailblazers. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. this message. Don't let it be late. Let it be now. Don't let it be later. Let it be now. I believe in you and me. I believe that we will be high achievers eternally. But as far as I can see, we are now trailblazers. Yes. Subscribe and share. You are amazing.